wish we could do cool things like this.
Hello and welcome to the Season 2 premiere of Teachers on Teachers, the show where we take your favorite teachers and get to know them a little better. I'm your host, Seamus Burke, and today we're brought to you by Miss Lahue and Mr. Breau. For those that don't know you guys, may you introduce yourselves.
Sure. I'm Mrs. Lahue. This is my 9th year teaching in Saugus. I taught at the middle school for 5 years before I moved up to the high school 4 years ago. I'm teaching CP freshmen mostly, and this year they allowed me to teach AP Lang, which has been really fun.
And I'm Mr. Breau. I've been teaching English here for 17 years. I guess this is my 17th year in Saugus. Mostly at the high school level. I did have a 2-year detour in 6th grade in 2013, 2014.
Okay, and to start off, how are you guys today?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little tired.
Yeah, it's Monday, but...
It's Monday. 2 weeks before we have 2 weeks off, which is really exciting.
Right.
I've been saying that all day.
Yeah, otherwise I'm feeling good too.
Yeah, nice.
Now, why did you both decide to become teachers?
You want to take this one?
Sure. I guess, teaching has been in my family for a really long time. My mom was a teacher and then became a superintendent eventually. 2 of her siblings were teachers. In fact, they were my teachers when I was in school. And both of my siblings went into teaching as well, although after me. So it just kind of felt like a natural path. In terms of teaching English, I was a strong English student. I was always a strong writer. So I went into studying literature in college, and so the path just kind of made sense at that point. How about you?
Very different. I do not come from a teaching background. Both my parents worked in like corporate jobs, and my mom especially was climbing the ladder. She now works as a CFO for a company, so growing up she wasn't home a lot, and that's something that really stuck with me and made me think, like, if when I grow up and I have a family, I want to do something that's going to allow me to be home with my family, with my kids. I want a little bit of a different life for my family than hers. And when I was thinking about that, I did kind of keep thinking about teaching because like you, I was a strong English student. I was a strong writer, strong reader. I found myself helping out, friends and things on their work for school. And it just eventually became something I really wanted, and allows me to have my summers and have my afternoons, while also being able to help students with something that I'm really passionate about, which is the dream.
Yeah, you can't beat the schedule, right?
Right, yeah, you really can't, for sure.
How do you figure out what should remain the same between your personal and professional life, and what should remain separate?
Interesting question.
That is an interesting question.
I definitely talk about my personal life a little bit more in class than I probably should. Everybody knows today that my back is hurting, and everybody knows that my daughter was sick last week, which is why I was out. But I definitely try not to, I'm teaching AP Lang this year, and I could be making it a very political class, and I'm really trying not to.
Mm-hmm.
So that, maybe the kids can kind of pick up on my political views and stuff, but I don't want that to be what the class is about. There's so much more we can talk about too, which has been going well, I think.
Right.
It's
I
hard.
think you want to strike a balance between connecting with your students in a personal way without oversharing.
Right.
Right. There are certain things you wouldn't want them to know about, kind of, I guess, what you're doing at home or what you're into. But at the same time, you can show kind of the human side of yourself.
Right.
Right. To let them know that you're a regular person.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think kids connect to that when you are able to show that, you're a human and you understand that they're human too.
Yeah.
I think that's big.
In the last few years, there's been a lack of English teachers compared to other subjects. Why do you think this is, and how has it impacted you?
Class sizes. For the freshmen, it's not that bad, but I know as they get older, have you noticed that in your honors classes are really big, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All my classes are big this year. I have the most students I've ever had in my career this year. It's my
Wow.
biggest caseload. As for why this happens to us, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a town level question to ask, right?
Yeah,
We only have so many positions to fill, and we fill them the best we can.
absolutely. Yeah, I think I really love our department. I think we all work together like really well. And I think that, I mean, I'm the newbie now because there was someone that was hired with me that is no longer with us, and I'm not sure what happened there, but that it's just like, it's kind of interesting, like coming in now that even though I'm 4 years into it, and becoming a part of the English department. We all work together well, but yeah, the freshman class sizes, I think because me and Mr. O'Brien are working on those together, aren't too bad. We both have like one class that's really big, but I know, like you have really big class sizes because I think you have the majority of the sophomores.
I do. I have 5 sophomore sections.
Right.
And I think Mr. O'Brien has 1, right?
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's all of
That's
them.
the sophomores.
Right. So yeah, it would be great to have at least one more teacher to help take on some of that caseload. But yeah, I know it's been a lot.
We've lost a lot of our elective courses because of that too. None of us teach any electives anymore. Which used to be kind of a nice part of the day.
Right.
Where you could kind of teach in a different style and do with less of a strict curriculum.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Would you want to teach an elective?
Depending on what was being offered, I think so. I think you could have some fun with it.
I keep thinking about putting forth a creative writing elective.
That
I
would
feel
be
like there's a
fun.
lot of kids that would love that, and I would have fun with that. Would you put forth anything for an elective,
I
or?
don't have any ideas at the moment.
Yeah. All right. We're trying.
How do you think COVID has changed your teaching style and the school as a whole?
Oof, that's a great question.
In terms of teaching style, there were some good things that I got out of it.
Yeah.
Partly, using technology, being able to utilize things like Google Classroom in a more efficient way,
Yeah.
or even doing things like Jamboards, or using something like a Kahoot. Or,
Yeah.
Those are things that I wasn't familiar with before
Yeah.
COVID. But in terms of classroom management, I still feel like I'm kind of recovering from that time.
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree with that. Classroom management has been tough because I definitely feel as though kids got used to learning with 2 screens, the one with their teacher on it and also their TV going or their phone going, and now they think that that's how they can work. I can't tell you how many times, and I started teaching high school right after COVID. So my first year here, we were still in masks, but we were here full time, so it was after that. But I can't tell you how many times I've been walking around the room and a kid's been watching Netflix, literally, just blatantly, on their phone while I'm
Right.
while they're supposed to be doing work. And they don't typically, I mean, maybe they're doing it when I'm teaching, but it's really when they're trying to do something independent that I catch them more with like 2 things going on. And it's not even that they're cheating or anything, it's just that their attention is split in such a interesting way, and in some cases they're still able to produce, not in all of them, but that's been really tough. Yeah, COVID for me, I feel like I thrived teaching online. Honestly, it was really nice to, you didn't have to worry about the behaviors as much, other than, hey, are you on your camera? Hey, are you turning this stuff in on time? Like, that stuff was a lot, but especially teaching 6th grade, which is what I was doing when COVID came along, there was way less of the 6th grade behaviors that happened in the classroom.
Yeah.
So that maybe kind of helped my transition over to high school where there were less of those, but I definitely feel that there is a big difference between my teaching from before COVID and after. And I agree that I've been utilizing Google Classroom way better. I feel like my written instructions are like way more clear because they had to be in order for kids to be able to do work asynchronously. So I definitely think it was a struggle, but I feel like it ultimately made me kind of a better teacher in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got better at making slides too.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
I utilize the slides in the chat room.
Yes, I always have slides up.
As parents, do you think parenthood has influenced how you treat your students?
My kid's not that old yet.
My oldest is 10 now.
Yeah.
And I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old as well. I don't think it has changed the way that I treat students so much, but I do think it has made me a little bit more aware of, I guess, the impact I can have or the role that I can take in a student's life. I mean, you never really know sometimes what kids are reacting to.
Yeah.
And I've learned that kind of watching my daughter and my son go through elementary school, and the way that they kind of talk about little moments in class with their teachers, right? Little moments of maybe a lighthearted moment where my daughter's teacher joked with her or something. She'll tell that story and I'll be like, oh, so these little interactions kind of do stick.
Right.
In ways that maybe I didn't realize before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my daughter's only 2, so I haven't gotten to the point where she's telling me anything about her teachers or anything, but I feel like I've changed in how I work here. I used to be the teacher that was here at 6:30. Like the janitor used to let me in my first couple of years teaching. And now I'm running in here sometimes along with the kids because it's just a hectic morning trying to get a 2-year-old up and everything. But I am definitely thinking about like how the adults in her life are going to have an impact on her too. That's like an interesting thing that you said. She's in daycare now, and the daycare is bilingual. So the biggest thing I get is that she'll like say hola to me or
Nice.
adios, or she'll tell me to vamonos when she wants me to come with her somewhere. It's just so cute. But yeah, I definitely, as she gets older, I think that will definitely shape how I interact with kids and stuff, and thinking more about that impact, because I'm definitely a teacher that my biggest classroom management, especially now teaching high school, is roasting. I just roast the kids until they're doing what I want them to do. And maybe I need to think about that a little more, like what impact that's having on them and if I'm actually hurting their feelings, which I hope not.
I don't think you'd come off as hurting their feelings.
No, I don't. I mean, you never know, but I hope not. Yeah.
Do you think developing a connection with students can improve their work in class?
1,000% yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. You even hear it through the grapevine, kids talking about teachers they don't connect with as much. They seem to not want to do that work.
Right.
Sometimes it's that simple.
It really is, yeah. I really do my best to try to interact with every kid, maybe not every day, but at least, throughout the year, and making sure that they know that I see them and that I, understand them. I try to ask them how they are and like actually care about how they are. And I do think that makes a difference in their work ethic. I think when I think that the kids can pick up on when I'm like, oh, that kid doesn't want to try, so how much am I going to go over there and like really try to help them try? But the kids that know that I see something in them, I think definitely work harder.
That's a lesson I've had to relearn after COVID too.
Yeah.
I was so focused on curriculum for a while after we kind of came back in person, and I was losing some of that connective interaction in the classroom.
Yeah.
So I've made a concerted effort this year to bring a lot of that back.
Right.
As well.
Yeah, that's something that I just find to be really important, and I definitely found it easier to connect with students in 6th grade because they're way more open with you, and they're just little crazy kiddos. But with high schoolers, they're a little more guarded. So now that this is my first year where I don't know the kids already from having taught 6th grade, I think I've made some like really strong connections with some of the freshmen, but it's definitely coming slower.
Right. Right.
Not having that relationship there from before, for sure.
What effect do you think social media has had on kids today?
Oh, it's so bad.
I think it makes kids kind of put more pressure on themselves to stand out and
I see that.
battle for attention. I think, you know, it's very negative in a lot of ways. You know, like when you see a fight break out, the first thing everyone does is grab their phone
Right.
to take it. It's not trying to separate people who might be trying to hurt each other. It's
Right.
let's get this on video.
Oh, it's so bad, yeah.
And that's kind of discouraging to me a lot.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. It's just so scary. Like, for me, growing up, the internet was like the wild, wild west, and my parents had no idea how to, you know, regulate that. And I feel like that's only snowballed even more. I think that there's more regulations and parents are a little bit more aware, but I think in terms of school, obviously it takes away their attention. Obviously it makes them, you know, film things where they should be like jumping in to help. I definitely think that they also say awful things about each other and get themselves in trouble. I can't tell you how many times, especially again in the middle school, we had meetings about, you know, kids who were bullying each other online or on Snapchat. And we would never have seen that in school. But because they're, you know, behind their phones, they're able to do that. And of course it's a big distraction.
You know, it also makes classroom lessons as, you know, least entertaining as ever, right?
Right.
Because there's so much entertainment available to us all the time.
Absolutely.
That, like, who wants to sit in a classroom and listen to this guy, you know?
Right, like how can I pull their attention to what I'm trying to say
Exactly.
when their phone and their social media and everything that they're doing is right in front of them and at all times.
Right.
It's so hard, and the few that do keep them away definitely have, you know, better success. It's just so, like, it's an addiction too.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I help them break that, you know, when I'm sure they see me every once in a while checking my phone
Oh,
too,
of course,
you
we're all
know,
guilty
like
of
we're
it.
all doing it.
Yeah.
It's not just them. So yeah, that's definitely a difficult topic. There's so much good about it, you know, people staying connected and stuff, but I think ultimately for teens it's being used for bad.
What is your favorite lunch to bring to school?
Oh, I'm a big snacks for lunch lady. So I'll bring like cheese and crackers and grapes. Like I'll just grab a million different snacks out of my cabinet because I don't actually want to make lunch. And I very rarely have leftovers. If I have leftovers, I'll do that, which is always nice. But I'm a big snacks for lunch person.
I make a salad with chicken on it 95% of the time.
Wow.
Because I'm so bad at controlling my eating habits at home that I know if I'm in control, I can at least get my vegetables in during the school day.
I love that. Yeah, I always try to make sure I have like a fruit and a vegetable snack as well. But yeah, no, I'm not so good at that either. I hear that.
What's the dumbest thing you did as kids?
Ooh,
Well, that's...
a loaded question. I have to think. I went through a little bit of a emo phase. Back then we called it a goth phase. Where I had like the dark hair and the big pants with all the chains. I have pictures if anybody ever wants to see them. And it was pretty bad, and I fell into a crowd of kids who did that, who dressed that way and acted that way because they like actually had like hardships in their lives and they were like dealing with that, where I was just like this, you know, just trying to like pose off as being sad and stuff. And we were all at a like retreat away for 6th grade, and one of my friends decided to like carve our names into the windowsill of something, and we all got in big trouble. Even though I didn't do it, I allowed it to happen. So that was the one and only time I ever got detention, was because I was with the wrong crowd at the wrong time, and they decided to vandalize the property of where we were. It was bad. I was grinding for a long time.
Yeah. I keep thinking about this one instance. I was in middle school, I think.
Yeah,
and
that was middle school.
It was a hot day out, and so my buddy and I were playing with the hose, and my parents weren't home.
Mm-hmm.
And we went in the house and kind of dripped all over the carpet, which,
no.
like, no, it's
Yeah,
water,
yeah.
right?
Right.
No big deal. But I kind of panicked about the water on the carpet, and so we grabbed the hairdryer, and we're trying to, like, dry it, and I start pushing it into the carpet, and it burnt, like, these big holes all through
no.
it. It was so stupid because you can just
It
let
would've
it
just-
dry.
right, it would've just
Nobody would
dried.
have even known about it.
Oh no.
So I got busted for that.
I bet.
I'm sure there were plenty of other stories that
Yeah.
aren't coming to me right now.
I
but-
know. I was trying to pick the one that was most suitable for school.
If you could give any advice to students watching this, what would it be?
I would say, take school seriously. I know some people find high school really easy. Some people don't necessarily want to be here. But you are going to get something out of it based on what you put into it. And I
Yeah.
would say everyone should try to come to school every day with an open mind for learning and trying to improve a skill or to take some new information
Right.
out of it every day, and just make yourself just a little bit smarter, a little bit more skilled in something.
Yeah, I totally
Because it
agree.
will add up, and it
Sure.
can help you in life.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would say that and also add on just to get involved. I think that like Color Day is such a good example of like all the kids that always do all the things get to be in the skit and get to scream, and you know what I mean? And like they're enjoying their high school experience, and then there's always those kids in the back of the bleachers that aren't standing up, that are sitting, and I always feel bad. Like I feel like if they just, allow themselves to enjoy and like get involved in the school, they would be able to have fun like that too. I think that getting involved is a really great way to meet people and feel connected to the school, and there's so many cool things to do. So yeah, that's what I would say. Take it seriously and get involved. Do fun things.
Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Teachers on Teachers. Before we go, is there anything our guests would like to say?
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, you rock, Seamus.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you next time.
Yay.
Hello and welcome to the Season 2 premiere of Teachers on Teachers, the show where we take your favorite teachers and get them to... Give me one more time. Sorry. Hello and welcome to...
Oh boy.